Hello, and welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks. I am Paul. Next to me is Mike.
Yeah.
And we have Lamar, our guest today. And I did it. I introduced ourselves right off the bat.
Immediately, it was the first thing you did. I'm proud.
Well, we're back today with the, hey, do you think gatherings are a good time kind of scenario? And that's going to be our month. And today we're with In Hell from 2003, directed by Ringo Lam and starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. And I think to best quote my father Rico numerous times here is, you can't beat a good Jean-Claude Van Damme film, which is a movie that I did not just watch.
Yeah, counterpoint. Yeah, that wasn't...
Yeah, I should probably load up a summary, but yeah, whatever you guys want to say.
Yeah, this movie, so... Yeah, we tried to fit the theme of like undiscovered, hidden gems, that kind of thing. This is definitely not one of them, but it made it sound like it might have been. Spoiler alert, it was not.
I could also guarantee you this is not going to be the last Jean-Claude Van Damme film we ever cover. There's just too many of them. I mean, this would be like,
for sure.
This would be like saying like we're only going to cover one Nicolas Cage film or something along those lines.
I will say that this is my least favorite Van Damme movie that I've ever seen.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah, I could find definitely worse.
I didn't say worse.
Oh, okay,
my least favorite.
No,
Okay.
no. We could make some least favorites. What was the movie that you refused to take from me ages ago? It has Rosanna Arquette in it.
You're not talking about Nowhere to Run, are
Oh, it's the worst. That is the worst.
Really?
Dude, that is no one doing anything.
I just have nostalgia feels.
Why?
Because
No one does anything in that entire film. And then, like, some dude comes in a truck and Jean-Claude Van Damme fights him and the credits roll. I'm like, what happened?
that movie is definitely worse than this one.
Yes. Yeah. I think Mike is exaggerating.
I'm not. This movie is terrible.
Okay. A man must survive a prison where hardened criminals battle to the death for the warden's entertainment. Yeah, I guess that's overall the summary of that film. That sounded kind of more direct and better than what we watched.
I mean, that is what was happening in the movie.
This didn't feel like a typical going into this movie. This was not a classic Van Damme flick.
Okay, I was debating on whether or not to bring this up at the beginning or wait to see if anyone mentioned it by the end. So, what is one thing that this movie did not have that you expect from a Van Damme movie?
Well, I'll tell you this:
okay.
It has a lot more fighting than Nowhere to Run. I'll tell you that.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah.
So there is fighting, but there was zero martial arts.
No, yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Van Damme does no karate in this movie.
I picked up on that.
He gets his ass kicked a lot, and he punches people in the face from time to time.
And you know what? I kind of like that.
I also kind of like it.
I'm on the opposite page as you guys. I did not like it.
There's fight scenes, but they're not typical Van Damme fight scenes. They're prison fight scenes.
Yeah, they are.
He steps out of his element.
So this movie isn't good enough, and Van Damme isn't a good enough actor to not be doing karate. That's the Van Damme thing. Like, that's why people go to see his movies. I'm not in for his acting chops.
I mean, this movie also stars Lawrence Taylor, and to really tell
who is a better actor than Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, to tell Mike, like,
Wow.
hey, maybe you're not giving this movie a chance. We have those sweet narrations, like Shawshank Redemption, going over there.
God.
We have a black man giving you straight narrations. Sometimes, and then I think they forget about it for like 45 minutes.
I didn't have a problem with this narration, but they didn't work here.
Sometimes it was just direct. It was just like, sometimes people go from a point to another point, and that's when they get there. Like, I wasn't really there, but I was like, what? Like, they're just, okay, you're just like making observations now.
Wait a minute. When did Shawshank come out?
It had to have been within...
was-
Oh, it was
2000.
way before this.
This
I mean,
is
it was the
2003?
Yeah, this 2003.
Oh, this is 2000. For some reason, I thought it was like in the 90s.
Yeah, you wish it was the
It felt like it was.
Shawshank.
Shawshank is
sounds like
94.
99.
Yeah, that
Holy
sounds about right.
Yeah,
Wow.
but
Okay, so this movie kind of tried to be a Shawshank.
There
Not
are-
really
there are-
tried, but tried to capture the essence.
There are some parallels.
parallels, but they missed on every target that they could have.
That's correct, yeah.
That's the case.
Well, let us give you a little background. So the movie opens up with some kind of street fighter jail fight, which I immediately thought it was Jean-Claude Van Damme getting his ass kicked. And I looked at Lamar and Mike, and they told me it was not. It was just some rando, and that was kind of it. And then you meet another character who kills his cellmate. We'll come back to that. And then we really just get to Jean-Claude Van Damme, who's a construction worker, I guess in Russia. I thought he was in France the whole time. He's apparently originally from Louisiana. His wife is named Gray. I had to look that up because I thought, what is he saying? I thought, Jean-Claude Van Damme has that slight accent. And I was like, what is he saying? And his wife is named Gray. Gray. Like, I can't do Jean-Claude Van Damme's accent, but I didn't know what he was saying, so I looked that up. And I don't know where he's at. Again, I thought he was in France. They keep saying he's from Louisiana. I can't understand half the people. And then he's talking about he's like a contractor in a construction company, and he's got to go where the jobs go, and everyone understands. So we really get to his wife at night, and some weird burglar breaks in and tries to rape her, and she fights him off, and he gets frustrated and stabs him.
I don't think he was a burglar. I think he was just like a rapist.
Like, I thought he was there to maybe.
He had an aggressive unibrow.
Yes. Yeah. So Jean-Claude Van Damme is aware of this.
He's talking on the cell phone to her when this is happening.
So he's driving like a madman to get home and catches the back end, but his wife's unfortunately dead. He fights said intruder.
He chases him down like on a tram.
Right, but then the cops come and arrest Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he's like, no, that's the man who did it. And then I'm writing notes, and I just get lost for moments because I see that he's, in court, and this intruder's let go because he's well connected, and apparently his father makes a bunch of money or whatever it is. And then I wrote a couple notes, and apparently then Jean-Claude Van Damme goes out of the courthouse and just shoots this guy. I didn't see any of that. I looked down for 10 seconds. But you were made aware of this later on in the film. And then Jean-Claude Van Damme is on a nice tour on a bus ride to a prison, which apparently is Russian. Again, I did not know he was in Russia. And then I looked it up, and all of this is filmed in Bulgaria. So there's a lot of questions I have about what's going on. And where he's at.
That opening scene, it really did take it was really quick. Just how it wanted to tell a story. It was basically 10 seconds of that background of why Jean-Claude Van Damme shot that guy. And,
I mean, the movie starts with a flashback, and
lots of flashbacks.
Lots of flashbacks. Yeah, from that point up until the point where he's in jail is maybe 2.5 to 3 minutes of this movie.
Yes.
You're just burning through it.
And the actual flashback was more like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It was enough to where Paul was writing notes, looked up, and it was over.
Or I think I looked up someone's name or something, and I was like, what? Like that's how he went to prison? I didn't learn that for another 10 minutes.
But they really piled on the darkness of the movie with that whole intro. Just Jean-Claude Van Damme pretty much got screwed over.
He did get screwed over.
Sexually assaulted. He shot the guy. Now he's going to whatever. I didn't know what country they were in until halfway through the movie. And when they actually said they were in Russia, I thought, like you, Paul, they were in France or some kind of.
Weren't they speaking French at some point in time to other people?
I don't know. I'm an idiot though. But like at the beginning when they're driving around, like when he's driving home, I wasn't sure what country they were in.
Well, yeah, that was different. There was something to do with like his actual construction site, and I thought he was talking in French to people he was working with.
Maybe it's because it's the only other language that he knows.
That's true.
I mean, I believed it, but then all of a sudden we're in Russia, and then I thought this doesn't even look like Russia.
Well, I mean,
it's in Bulgaria.
As soon as he gets to prison, all the guards have Russian flags and Cyrillic on their uniforms. So that's when I kind of figured it out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, they tell you it's in Russia eventually, but it's not. That is not advertised for the beginning of the movie.
It's because he's in hell.
Yeah, he is in it. What some kind of like gulag, I guess.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, or it looks like.
Yeah, because they're making him do. In addition to the fighting, is slave labor, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bus eventually gets to prison, and much like any prison scene, you see the new inmates getting off some kind of bus, and I like that the old inmates, to break them in, are making goat noises.
We also eventually see some goats too.
That's true. I didn't make that connection.
That's how they learned how to do the noises.
There's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
It's your typical prison entry scene where they're on the bus and there's prison guys going, yeah, fresh meat, blah, 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 and all that.
But instead we just get a lot of goat scenes or noises.
It would have been helpful if there was a voice on the bus, like in Fortress, that explained the movie to us, because I was still pretty lost at this point.
Yeah, that Lawrence Taylor narration didn't come in until way later.
Well, it comes and goes and goes.
And he doesn't really tell you what's going on. He's just talking.
Or there's the diatribe about him and his hate.
He does seem to have quite a bit of that.
Yes.
I did like the pacing of this, though. It's just quick to, just get the prisoners off the bus. Blah,
Yeah,
blah,
I'll actually give the pacing of this entire film kind of 2 thumbs up. Like or dislike. I mean, they don't pull any punches. I mean, they are immediately doing stuff and things just start happening. And it's a pretty short film. It's just a little over an hour and a half. So I kind of like it for those reasons. But yeah, so we get to...
I definitely liked how short it was. That was my favorite part.
So we get to the montage of them, being beaten down. Jean-Claude Van Damme's like, I'm going to wear my wife's ring. And the head guard is like, ha, 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 no. And, you would think the head guard would take it and sell it, but he wears it.
Yeah,
like,
he just likes it. It's a gold wedding band.
And so, yeah, he just wears it now. And then the other inmates are like, this poor sap, but, I don't want to get out of line. And then everyone's getting haircuts, and then there's a shower.
This is also the part in the movie. Up until this point, everyone was speaking Russian to each other.
Yeah.
Like in the courtroom, blah, blah, blah. And they start speaking English to Van Damme because they realize that he's American. And this is the point where people stop speaking Russian to each other, and the rest of the movie is in English.
Yeah,
because there was a lot of subtitles up until this point.
Yeah, like maybe background Russian is spoken, but like anything up front is totally in English.
Also, everyone is smoking cigarettes in this movie, and everyone who smokes a cigarette is doing it through like a Holly Golightly cigarette holder for some reason. Did you notice this?
Yeah, I did notice. Okay. I thought it was kind of like part of prison culture because it looked
they don't want their fingers to smell like tobacco. Or
I noticed there's some of the scenes where they're smoking a cigarette and they have just a little bit of cigarette in a bit of the rolling paper.
Sure,
and it's not like fully like. It's not a full cigarette. It's just like more of a hit.
So they just want to get their money's worth out of this. It's like a roach clip.
I think they're just like pretty much just take 2 hits and then they're out. And that's the way all these cigarettes were rolled in the scene.
Yeah, everyone was smoking rolled cigarettes, but yeah, they were doing it through like the plastic holders.
Sometimes you just want to have a smoke, and you're in a Russian gulag, and
don't mind me opening up leftover Halloween candy. By the way.
Hey, Rabbit Troop Sucks is sponsored by leftover Halloween candy and cigarettes and gulags. When you're eating a Three Musketeers and you want to feel like a fancy man in a prison, well, come to Rabbit Troop Sucks. We can help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, everyone's getting haircuts. Everything's going great. I'm going to just skip over some really uncomfortable scenes. We get a very uncomfortable a character, Billy, one of the youngest ones, I think he says he's 21, is raped in the middle of the night, and it's just really awkward. And
it set the pace. This was a darker movie than I thought. It was actually a little darker.
Yeah, it was very rapey.
Yeah, I was really prepared for courtyard fight scenes.
Yeah, I went into this movie. We went into this movie kind of blind. We didn't hear about this movie before. We just kind of. You told me it was a Jean-Claude Van Damme prison movie, so I'm thinking he's going to kick his way out of this. Everything's going to be fine. And all of a sudden, there's this very violent sexual assault.
Yeah.
It really set the scene for a dark prison movie.
Yeah, no, there were moments that were kind of I mean, they were done poorly, but they were still uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, fuck.
Well, it's basically... So after this rape scene, Jean-Claude Van Damme is like super charged up about like what happened because people could hear it and he senses it. And the next day he's let out of his cell and he sees the guy who did this and he sees him and then he thinks of the intruder who tried to molest or rape his wife.
The rapey guy gives him like that little like wink kiss and that's what and
it triggers Van Damme.
Right, he has one of the many flashbacks in this movie.
Many flashbacks.
That's the same kiss wink that the acquitted murder rapist of his wife gave him when they were walking out of the courtroom.
Yeah, so
before he shot him.
So Van Damme just like basically like punch slaps him right in the face as they're walking by. It was, as Lamar said, yeah, things are just happening. Choo choo.
This is the part where I was like, yes, now we're going to see that this guy was a secret closeted martial artist and he's going to beat everyone's ass, but he does not. He is a probably worse fighter than I am and gets his ass kicked.
Yeah. He sure does.
Even though he's like a huge, hulking, beefy man.
Well, I will give it to him later. Van Damme definitely beefs up more.
No, there's movie. A montage.
And he truly does beef up.
Yes.
This movie takes several steps to build up the Jean-Claude Van Damme character versus the other movies where he just comes out as a badass and then he just goes through the movie as a badass and ends up as a badass. Here he's a pussy. Gets his ass beat down by every prison guard, and they pretty much just this is where they take him to the hole.
Yeah, well, the poo room.
Yeah, there's not. Yes, and there are not many settings in this film. No. There's the courtyard. There's Van Damme's cell. Maybe a couple corridors, hallways, and yes, the poo room, which is the hole where he is put in. And why Mike is referencing this is when people flush the toilet, there is a...
That is what that was, right?
I assume.
I mean, that's what it looked like.
There's a chiseled out runway, like, what was it? The French drainage ditch that we see in, what's the gold pirate show, Mike, that we watched? Curse of Oak Island? It's the French drainage ditch of poop. Where someone flushes a toilet and it just runs right through, like, and not even jokingly, the middle of the room.
Yeah.
And then in the corner, there's a raised concrete slab that he calls home. And then as a power move, they're serving him food. I'm guessing lunch and dinner, maybe twice a day. I'm assuming maybe once a day, including nights. And he is refusing it all.
Yeah.
And eventually you see ants on it, but they keep changing it. And yeah.
Well, yeah, and the poo room becomes too much for him, so he tries to hang himself.
Yep.
It does not go well.
No,
because he rips his poorly made Russian prison shirt.
And then one day a moth comes to him.
Well, before the moth, he also tries to kill himself or whatever by running his like full tilt into the wall.
Yeah.
Which also doesn't work, and he kind of passes out in the poo a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And then a moth comes to talk to him, and the moth becomes like his BFF.
Yeah, the moth is a sign. Like, you could do it, buddy. Like, and then, so, Mike, even if you dislike this movie, the flashbacks Jean-Claude Van Damme has is not made. They're not made for this movie. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't even know where to begin because the flashbacks are the most obscure thing. So, the flashbacks are a moth comes to him.
He thinks the moth is his wife.
Yes, but
by the way,
yeah. Well, I think it leads to that because it's triggering all these memories of his wife. And the first one is, haha, remember that fun time we tried to kill a moth in the house? And he almost does, and it goes to the front door, and she goes, no, don't kill it. And that's the end. We don't know if he kills it or not.
Right.
There's another flashback later in the film where he's playing fake hide and seek in the forest or the woods. Like, she's like, where are you? And he jumps behind the tree. He's like, She's like, no. He's like, gotcha. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on?
I dubbed this the...
My wife and I have never played these games, I guess. Is this a board game we should get into?
I dubbed this moth the bad CGI moth. It looked really bad.
It was the worst CGI moth.
So, I agree, yes. But the first moment of it doesn't look super bad.
That's true.
Like, for like a second. And I was like, what is it? And then it kind of shows to be a moth. And I feel with every millisecond of it, it just grows infinitely worse.
They blew the budget on the first 5 seconds.
Oh, yes, they did. They're like, I don't have time to render these files in 2003. Like, 2003 rendering? We're going to be here for 5 months. This movie is being filmed in 48 hours, right? No. I'll give you 3 seconds of them off. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
And I might be skipping around, but yeah, those flashbacks where it's like, oh, no. And all of the other flashbacks are Jean-Claude Van Damme and his wife Gray at, I believe, a Marriott hotel, and she is just in an inflatable raft in the outdoor pool. And sometimes he's at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
But it's clearly the Marriott. This is Rabbit Troop Sucks has been brought to you by the Marriott. And Fantasy Marriotts.
Oh, I'll take all those Marriotts.
Hey, if you want to call Marriott and tell them Rabbit Troop Sucks sent you and you want the fantasy suite, do it.
The fantasy suite? Wow.
Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not really jumping around. So he's trying to get some sleep in the poo room, and from the room next door, there's like, I didn't at first
Wolfman?
I didn't know whether there was like noises, and at first, because of the precedent that this movie set, I thought he was listening to additional raping. But then it was like, oh no, this might be just like Sloth from the Goonies in there.
Oh yeah, you got heavy sloth vibes.
It was just someone like, "Rawr!"
Yeah.
And it was, he bangs on the wall like it's like, hey, I'm trying to sleep over here, and it doesn't work. But foreshadowing, it does work.
Yeah, foreshadowing. Hashtag the banging works. Mm-hmm. And it does. You can't take that away from me.
It did add a horror element to the movie. It's kind of, he's trapped in a hole, and there's another person trapped probably in an adjacent hole, and they're making this sound, and I swear it's like,
No, that's exactly what it is.
and he's pounding on the wall, and Van Damme's pounding back. It just keeps going on, and
Also, Adjacent Holes is the EP Mike and I are working on currently.
yeah.
I'm withdrawing my name from this
I hope you
project.
can get some use out of that.
It's a holiday themed romp.
Oh wow. Okay. So after they let him out of the poo room, they felt he'd had enough.
The poo room.
They take him to his new cell, and they're like, "Here's your new cellmate." FYI, he killed the last 2 to 3 cellmates he had. So good luck with that.
Oh, and it was also, and if you ever want to get out of here, you're gonna tell me, and basically you're gonna bribe me, and then we'll talk.
For someone in prison, he is coming up with a decent amount of cash, U.S. dollars.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't even know who comes to visit him later.
I think it's his brother-in-law.
That's what I thought as well.
They don't explain it.
Yeah, but I was kind of under the assumption that maybe at least then he was giving him cash, like that was how it was. Like I brought you a Snickers.
I don't have a
and
ton
100
of
American
experience
dollars.
being or visiting people who are in prison.
I would assume in Russian prisons, if they were like, "Hey, who are you?" I'm a dude who's gonna give that guy cash. They're like, "You are welcome to come in."
I mean, I guess that was my assumption.
And you got a Snickers? Well, I'm taking one of those.
Right, like the cake with the file in it, you have to leave. But if you want to give them money, we will steal this from them.
So this money you don't plan on leaving the prison with. It will be given to someone you think will hold on to it.
Right.
Come on in. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So he talks to his brother-in-law, and his brother-in-law's like, "Yeah, we'll get you extradited or whatever." He's like, "It won't work. This sucks." And that was it. Maybe he gave him money, and then we find out that they're using the prisoners to build a railroad or whatever. Yeah. Which is apparently a thing.
That's the community started. This was yes. They are building a railroad.
Right, like in Russia in 2005.
Yeah, I mean,
or whatever.
Also, I mean, this looks super poor, and I'm not trying to make fun of Russia. Why are they building this weird railroad, which is like a mile from the prison? I mean, the prison's in the distance. Also, oftentimes when they're building the railroad, all these jet pilots are flying above them. Like, they keep showing those scenes.
I thought so. Yeah, at least 4 to 5 times throughout this movie, they would look up and there'd be jets flying in the air. Yeah. I really thought that was going to play in at some point later.
Van Damme flies away.
But yeah, he's going to like lasso one and ride it away, or it's going to be an American jet and he sees. I don't know, but I assumed it was something. It is not.
Instead, it's just background.
They just keep showing,
whatever that leads nowhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably, and I can't remember the movie this happened, but Lamar, Rami, and I were watching a movie, and some people were on the street, and a full-on, it was a fire truck drives by, and it was clearly unplanned. Like you see it, the flashing in the windows at first. And then the sound is so loud, it drowns out the lead, like talking, and they just kept it in. It was abundantly clear, like, we're not cutting this scene. Maybe, and then that's what I'm thinking. It was just Like there's some
Jets
fighter
kept
jets
flying over, and they're like, "Fuck it, just film it.
Half
We'll make
the
it a
people
thing."
don't speak English. They're like, "Yay, fighter jets!" We're like, "We're not." Yeah, Van Damme is not gonna do take two. That's not what he does.
There's a lot of misses in the atmospheric background, shall I say, with how these scenes were shot. Like the airplanes that make no sense at all, and a lot of the imagery in the prison scenes just make no sense.
Yeah.
Maybe time filler, I don't know. Which
Yeah.
they didn't really need, and these scenes move flawlessly from scene to scene. Well, I can't say flawlessly. There's flaws.
Yeah.
But they move quick, but
Yeah. Okay.
you don't need this filler crap.
Also, I want to take a little side note. I know I told this to Lamar many ages ago, but when Jean-Claude Van Damme was first becoming super popular when I was younger, especially I think like movies like Bloodsport and various other things, I remember, and I think maybe it was Bloodsport, but there was a back-to-back Jean-Claude Van Damme movie night, and I was living in Missouri, and the way they advertised it, I know the first movie was Black Eagle, and that is where Jean-Claude Van Damme plays a villain. Lamar, you have not seen that. I'm still in to watch it. It's kind of a weird movie. I don't think we should do it for this, but I'd watch it independently.
Didn't you and I watch this recently?
No, I have not seen this in ages.
What is the movie that you and I watched where Van Damme was a bad guy?
What's the movie you went to go see?
No retreat, no surrender.
Yeah, No Retreat.
That's
No
right. Okay.
So yeah, it was like Black Eagle and I think Bloodsport, but they kept advertising it for like weeks, like this Friday. And I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, I could watch it. Like that'd be awesome. And my parents didn't really care because it wasn't like an HBO thing. It was just like edited for like local TV. So like any nudity and profanity would be edited out. So they're like, whatever. And the way they kept advertising it was Van Damme, Van-dingo, Van Damage. And I will remember that all of my life. 1, 3 things for 2 movies. 2, what the hell does Van-dingo mean? And I was in. And as a kid, I was in. 100% in. Like, you know, what else do you need from me? Van-dingo was in it.
Yeah, this movie puts the dingo in Van-dingo.
As a kid, if I had a 3-part Van Damme.
It was 2-part. It was
only 2. It wasn't 3 movies.
No, it was it was definitely Black Eagle and another movie, and I think it was Bloodsport. It could have been it was totally Bloodsport. It had to have been Bloodsport.
Is there an Australian Van Damme movie that they had intended to insert in the middle there?
Hey. They didn't have time to you even question. The third one, remember, was Van Damage. And you're like, whoa, it's too late. I'm in.
Well, he's doing the Van Damage. I'm there, but
Well, if you watch Kickboxer and you watch him dance, you've seen the Van Damage. You've seen it. You've seen it good. And again, this movie does not have dancing. Warning.
no, it has a lot of dancing.
Well, it doesn't have
He's not dancing.
Jean-Claude Van Damme drunken
Van Damme
dancing.
is not dancing.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of Russian dancing.
Yes, which is very different than Thailand dancing and bar scenes in Kickboxer.
Oh, yes.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, we're somewhere in this movie.
I don't. Oh no, he meets his cellmate.
Meets his cellmate, LT.
Yeah, who's
Lawrence Taylor.
Yes, Lawrence Taylor.
right. He's reading a book or like writing his memoirs.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's an awkward scene where Van Damme goes and takes a shit right next to his head, which I mean that's
it's the Van Damage.
yeah.
Not a word is spoken between the cellmates either.
Well,
No.
that's kind of noted that
Yeah.
that's a plus. That's why Van Damage and Van-dingo are staying around in this.
Yeah, well, I mean, all the talking that the guards did about like this guy, he kills everyone. He's probably going to kill you. When Van Damme's taking a shit next to him, I thought he was like, okay, this is it. This is where he's going to kick this guy's ass.
No, but he respects it.
Yeah, he's like, all right, he's just taking a shit. He turns the light out and goes to bed and lets Van Damme shit in peace.
Yeah, blows out his 4
He
candles.
blows out his candles, puts his memoirs away.
As you do.
Yeah.
He survives one night with Lawrence Taylor in a prison cell.
Yeah, I mean, he tries to suffocate him later.
Has anyone seen Lawrence Taylor in another film?
Maybe? I don't know.
But I swear, I think he tried to have an acting career after his NFL career, and he might have been in something else.
Well, I'm just going to tell you this. He is not good in this.
No, not at all.
Yeah, these narrations. I mean, I don't even blame him. I mean, the words he is reading as a narrative overdub to explain what's happening is just terrible. And let's talk about this interwoven soundtrack that I'm hearing throughout
I'm
this.
glad you brought that up.
It's like weird German techno. There was clear inspiration from The Matrix at points in time. Like there is no way that there was not.
Well, I mean, everything was at
It
this
is
point.
the most out of place techno soundtrack I think I've ever heard in a movie ever, and I feel like it's just 2003 is the era for just shitty techno.
Right, it's like also like a lo-fi dub, and it's like so. There's like one scene, and I tried to even describe it in some notes. I don't even know if I'm on the right page yet, but I think it's like they're starting off like a fight scene at a prison, and it's not the spar that we see later, but all of a sudden you're like, it's like a very like a kick-driven tempo. It's like, boof, 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 boof. And then you just what I assumed was someone talking German is like.
It did sound like that.
And you're like, and you're like, what is this? Like, what? What is happening? But then later in the movie, huge soundtrack shift. We get 451 Lawrence Taylor reading some of his nonsense, and then you hear like violins and like very orchestrated orchestral sounds. You're like, what? But yeah, what was up with this weird techno?
It felt like, imagine just watching Shawshank Redemption and then just playing like a Chemical Brothers soundtrack in the background. Just
Block
really
rockin'
lightly.
beats, Andy. I'm a man who could get things.
That's what a lot of these scenes were like.
He crawled through that shit for 3 miles. Smack my
That's exactly, yes.
Hey. I'm a man who could get things. Well,
Yeah, so you were talking about how good this movie was?
so when we do the remix of when someone on Earth does a remix in that way and you send it to us, we will totally watch it.
Yeah.
RTS is brought to you by that when that happens. Wow.
I'm going to have another candy bar.
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
Three Musketeers.
This is the third Musketeer.
Yeah. So I'm just like even looking through my notes. There's a lot of sometimes there's a one night there was a look between the two of them, and then there's another flashback where he is home and he's doing nothing, and then he I guess was making noise in his sleep. So Lawrence Taylor tries to choke him awake, and he's like,
I like that choking
"Yeah,
awake.
get your hands off me," and I'm trying to read my notes because I think it comes from his message, but it's so messy. It's so nonsensical.
I can't read my handwriting. We record in the dark,
Yeah, it's
so
true.
I'm taking notes in the dark. But yeah, when he's like screaming in his sleep, and then when Lawrence Taylor chokes him, he's like, "The world's too noisy. I earned my peace and quiet."
That's what I'm trying to read.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
He's like, I've earned my peace and quiet. Yeah, so don't make noises. So if you're going to the bathroom, he understands. Beyond that, shut up.
Yeah, the world has too much noise.
So then, I think I'm saying this correctly. We wake up the next day and there's a big hoopla in the courtyard. We're in the yard, and it turns out is it like the spar?
I think that's what he was saying.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's what I thought. So it's the big spar. So everyone's playing some music. It's a spar off.
There's
guards are involved.
The guards are bringing their kids to this.
Yeah, this is really weird. So,
They're dancing.
so I feel this is a low-key spar off because later it's not just kids. We get a whole gaggle of people coming. But
Right.
this
This
time
is like regular season. We're seeing like postseason later.
Yeah,
on.
we're seeing some early season trials. Who's gonna make the cut? What are people thinking? So yeah, they pan around the courtyard, and in the buildings, all the guards and the general. Mike's right. They have their kids. They brought their kids
And
to
their
watch us.
prostitutes.
No, that's later.
Oh,
we're in a ramp up.
They don't get to bring the prostitutes.
This
to the
isn't
early
this
ones.
isn't the fancy spot.
Okay, yeah.
So this is just early on. So yeah, it's just like they're kids and everyone's like laughing, having a good time. Some of the inmates are playing music. It sounds like Go Go Bordello. Everyone's having a good time.
It's glove day.
Yeah. Some people are making jokes.
Right.
There's like a ringmaster. And then there's a fight and people beat the crap out of each other.
Yes.
This is kind of like it's the whole setup where like the warden kind of like set it up. The preface of this is that two prison gangs are kind of like warring, And they get into a fight one day, and one of the prison guards comes up and is like, no, we'll do it in a spar. And so it's kind of like a whole setup from the warden and the prison guards, and they place bets on prisoners, and it's a place where prisoners can fight peacefully because the prison doesn't want the prisoners fighting just randomly. So it's controlled fights, pretty much, is what it is.
Yeah. For money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Money and power.
Yeah. So there we see the first fight, and then again my notes are a little disjointed. We see the little what's his name, Billy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's making a shiv because he doesn't like how things went down, and he knows he's gonna have to go into the boom boom room with the bad guy again. So he makes this shiv.
Oh man.
But this is the worst attempted shivving I've ever seen. So the guards throw him in the room with the guy. And rather than like waiting for an opportune moment, like once the doors close, the guards are away, maybe even mid rape. Like I'm sorry, I'm speaking like that's a horrible thing to say. But no, like as soon as he gets thrown in the room, he's like, "I'm gonna stab you," which doesn't work because he just gets his ass kicked again.
Gets his ass kicked and
gets shivved himself. Yeah,
yeah. It just takes your shiv, and you ever been shivved by your own shiv?
that's the worst.
That's what happened to poor Billy here.
Yeah.
And then JCVD is fighting off an entire gang at the railroad tracks.
Yeah, I don't really remember why. I don't think it matters.
And he loses.
He's beating guys off with both hands, and he does lose, yeah. And he has to go to the poo room again.
Back to the poo room.
Where he spends the rest of the night talking to the goddamn moth again.
And, if all of you are hopefully Hook fans out there, the Boo Box, it's a little better than the poo room.
The boo box... I think I'd rather be in a poo room than a boo box.
Well, the poo room gets really pooey sometimes.
It does, but
Don't let it rain in the poo room.
aren't there like spiders in the boo box?
That's one of our songs.
I don't really
Don't
know.
let it rain in the poo room.
But it does rain in the poo room.
Yeah.
But he seemed to enjoy it because he got to wash his hair a little bit. Is this where we get into the montage where he starts getting jacked? Or did other shit happen in this movie?
As soon as it started raining, he starts to break down and he starts getting
because his moth wife comes back and they chat for a little while.
Yeah, it's like don't lose faith in me. That's how I imagine the moth
really
talking.
gets out of hand because
yeah.
now his wife is like a full visual now. She's like a ghost through this moth.
Well, it's a little foggy, but like later in the movie, we get ghost wife.
We do get ghost wife at some
Straight
point.
up. It's like ghost dad, but wife.
Yeah. There was never mind. Never mind. Okay.
It is the point in time where Van Damme just says fuck it and he starts like pushing up and
Yeah, so apparently he's just in the poo room forever and he just gets jacked. It's, think Terminator 2, Linda Hamilton just pulling on those sweet pull-ups times 1,000 because he's climbing the wall, he's doing all these things.
Yeah.
He then gets released and he's even training in his room.
Yeah, so this montage went on for quite a while. In parallel to the montage of JCVD getting ripped, there is a montage of Billy and some other unnamed American prisoner escaping or attempting to escape.
Oh yeah.
And then the other one, whatever his name was, gets shot. Billy gets captured.
Yeah, this is one of many times Billy's just gonna try to escape and fail.
I mean, Billy's not making choices.
How did they? Something happens.
Yeah, they found landmines. They're building the railroad.
Oh, that's right.
And then a car exploded, and then Billy and the other guy were like, "Run!" And I mean, there's a bunch of dudes with machine guns like 10 feet away, and they quickly shoot one of the guys.
Right. Billy made it a little bit though.
No, so yes, Billy sort of. There are scenes of Billy just running, and people are running full on after him, and it's like 40 people. Honestly, 20 feet behind you. Like, you're eventually going to be caught. There's even a helicopter flying above him.
Right, but like the time frame in this was kind of weird. Not that this matters in this movie at all, but
it's a day or a month.
Yeah, so like he's running and it's daytime, and then we see him like trudging through a stream and it's night.
Yeah, but then they eventually bring him back and they're like, you cost us money.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I don't know.
No one knows.
No one does know. So, Yeah, so now are we at the point where JCVD is like in the ring with the rapey guy?
Well, so basically the last kind of little montage scene is it's pouring rain and all the inmates are kind of like under some awnings, etc. And JCVD is just running laps, and the head guard is like, "He's ready now."
He is running
yeah.
laps.
So then they set up the fight between the big bad, who I don't remember is the like piece of crap who raped Billy, and JCVD just wants a piece of him. And so yes, it happens.
Yeah, so they're duking it out, and JCVD is mostly getting his ass kicked.
Yeah,
because even though he's pretty yoked now, he still doesn't know how to fucking fight.
I also noted that. I was like, that's great that he's doing all these like muscle building exercises. He still does not know how to fight. Like the other guy clearly, through experience and time, knows how to fight instinctively.
Right. So then at the end of the fight, when you think JCVD's losing, he just fucking bites a bit of his neck out.
Yeah. I mean, so he does kind of win like in a couple areas.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You think he's down and out, and JCVD just bites a huge chunk out of this dude's neck and kills him. And even the general and the guards are disappointed. They're like, no, like the zip, like cut it.
Yeah.
Shut the shades. My kid's here. And then they exchange, hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever amongst each other. And it's high betting. It's like Fight Club for money.
Right. And riding the high of his victory, JCVD, he gets a haircut. He goes from the nerdy twin and double impact to the evil twin and double impact.
Yeah, soul patch.
He gets like a fucking Smash Mouth beard.
That's what he does. Back. Wow, yeah.
And which is maintained through the rest of the movie. Even when he is like convalescing in a hospital for a month, well, that's foreshadowing, and we'll get there. Someone was maintaining his little douchey beard.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I have a feeling that he just wore that in real life too for a couple of months after that. It was 2003.
That was his look at that point.
Also that night, the big thing is when he's cutting his hair, his killer cellmate comes in, 451, and they exchange looks. And then the night ends. And then the next day, Jean-Claude is right back fighting, and I think Lamar's quote, I quoted Lamar, was just daily fights now. It's like you want a big fight, and now you're like literally every day you just get up and start fighting.
I remember when Jean-Claude Van Damme first got to the prison, and there was just no fights. It was just his turmoil.
He's a different man.
Into the hole.
He's a different JCVD.
And now they're just having daily prison fights now. It's just like,
what else do you got?
Yeah, it's just like it's just an arena. It's no longer a prison. It's just an arena where you take some prisoners and just throw them up against each other.
So we see that for a little bit, and then we see the weirdest cutscene.
Van Damme?
Well, he did Van Damme. We're at like some beer garden festival. We got like some folk rockers coming out. This woman singing. People are dancing. People are laughing. It is fantastic. We quickly learn it's Russian Independence Day.
Yeah, we know this because everyone who says it says Russian Independence Day.
Yes.
Which I feel like Russians in Russia wouldn't say.
I mean, Mike, when I saw you on 4th of July and I kept saying, Happy Independence Day.
American Independence Day.
Happy American Independence Day, comrade. I mean, friend. I mean, comrade. I mean, acquaintance. I mean, yes. Just like the 4th of July.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's courtyard fights. There's a lot of hoopla.
So let me ask you this, and this is maybe a really dumb question. What is Russian Independence Day? Is that a thing? I mean, everyone has their own.
That's a good question. Everybody has like their Independence Day.
I don't know what that celebrates or if that's real. I have a history degree. Maybe I should know this, but I don't because I'm an idiot.
Got me thinking. Now I really don't know.
It doesn't matter. I was just curious if this was something they made up.
Yeah. Why are you trying to make us look dumb?
I don't think we didn't need any help. I'm going to Google this right now.
There you go.
Well, in all of this, did you guess it? Billy tries to run off, and he does not get far. He tries to run. There's another cellmate that I don't know his name. He is in a wheelchair.
Mordecai, Malachi.
Malachi.
Yeah.
Is his name Malachi?
Yeah.
Okay, so Malachi has been selling people out. We quickly learn this.
For like fancy wound balm for his back or something.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad. Like it's later disclosed. He's like, I thought he was getting drugs, and it was just no. He's like, I'm in a wheelchair and I need special medications and special things, and that's what I've actually been trading information. But he was privy to Billy's escape plan, and he's like, he even kind of helped plan it. He's like, you could do it, and then told the guards what happened, and the guards quickly catch Billy again, and then beat the crap out of him, and basically say he's going to be sexually abused yet again, and that is what happens.
Yeah, I thought the Malachi character was selling him out for like pain medication that he needed, but turned out it was just more luxurious than that.
And this is where we get another fine 451 narration, because unfortunately, through the night, Billy is so beaten and sexually abused, he doesn't make it through. And 451 so eloquently puts it as, he finally escaped, but in a different way. Everything this dude is writing is like my 7th grade poetry. Like, it is terrible. It is terrible and should be read by no one. What? Come on, man. Terrible.
I know I said I like his narration, but it was bad here, but I actually wasn't paying attention to anything that he said narration wise. I just kind of like this voice.
That's fair.
Sure. I actually just feel bad for the actor. I mean, this is just a crap role with a crap dialogue. It's terrible.
It's out of place, like most of the things in this movie.
This is where he sets Wheelchair Guy on fire, right?
I think that's a little later.
Yeah, it's coming. It's a coming. It's a coming.
Okay.
Oh, no, we're pursuing some big things. So the next day, the big fight is set up. So we are told that there is another prisoner that transferred from another prison to get in to specifically fight JCVD. And we meet this guy, and he's like, I'm going to fight you. But they're like, hey, cool it, bro. It's Russian Independence Day. We don't need any of that, and so they don't. But the big fight is set up. And did you, Mike, find out about Russian Independence Day?
Yeah, and this should have been pretty obvious. It's to celebrate the dissolution of the USSR.
Oh,
hey, all right, okay.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What day is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
We've gone too far from that.
We have.
Well, getting to the big fight. We get to the big fight, and JCVD is just crouched down. He's on his knees, and he's not going to fight this big dude. This big dude's like throwing him around. He's knocking him around. He picks him up, throws him to the ground, etc., etc. And the head guard runs down there because the general is so pissed off. There's big money on this. There's a lot of money involved. And JCVD says, I won't be your game anymore. And boom, they take him back. No. I was going to say they bring him to the hole.
Yeah, okay.
But they handcuff him and chain him to a tower. Or I think it's chain him to a tower. And that's where they go. Now, 451 meets with Mordecai, you guys said?
Yeah, Mordecai.
So Mordecai, I guess he's your man to get whatever you want. Like, I've got the goods, I have the connections. And it's kind of weird because he hands him this little gas can. He's like, who's this for? And before I answer that, and when he answers that, I was like, it's just alcohol, it's hooch.
Yeah, I thought it was booze for sure.
It's straight up like a handheld gas can filled with gasoline. And 451's like, it's for you. And really casually just pours it on him like it was oil on a salad. It's kind of comical. Like, there you go. A little there, a little sparkle there.
And then we have some new flashbacks. We have some 451 flashbacks.
Super weird.
Where earlier in the movie, we didn't mention this, but you see his back and he has like burns on it.
Yeah.
And in this flashback, we see how like he burned his dad alive or something. Or he burned someone.
No, I think it was a teacher.
A teacher. Yeah. He was burning someone.
It was a really quick scene. So the flashback is he's kind of not reading well in school, but then a teacher's like, I could help you. But then the next scene is the teacher is molesting him. Like,
oh, that's right.
Like without a shirt on. and like rubbing his back, and then he throws gasoline everywhere and burns that teacher on fire and inadvertently himself, which I'm guessing is his backstory of what landed him in prison.
Okay, so riddle me this.
But it was also like a American teacher. I don't know why he would be in a Russian prison.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
He said he's been there for like half his life.
20 years, yeah.
How did he end up in a Russian prison?
Absolutely no backstory
Great.
for that at all. So I just gave up on that at all. As soon as I saw Lawrence Taylor in a Russian prison, I'm like, how'd you get here? What did you do?
There were an awful lot of Americans in this Russian prison.
There were.
Maybe he too was from Louisiana. You could never know. Big. Mike pinpointed while we're watching this that Jean-Claude Van Damme loves being from Louisiana.
That's true.
Yeah.
We had a whole thing about his accent. Just you can fake a accent with. He sounds really. He can do it.
Well, actually, Mike posed the biggest question, and if anyone has ever worked with Jean-Claude Van Damme and you are clearly a mega fan of Rabbit Troop Sucks and you want to reach out to us, as always, hit us up on Gmail or whatever. But let us know if Jean-Claude Van Damme truly knows the difference between Velvet and Velveteen. And if anyone could tell us that, Jean-Claude Van Damme, you are more than welcome to be a guest. You could phone or Zoom in and give us your insight to your Velvet.
Well, I mean, his character's name in Universal Soldier is what, Luke Delacroix or something? Of
course.
That man definitely knows the difference.
Well, actually, that's probably a family secret where he did, and that's kind of a backstory that we didn't know about.
We only find about that in Universal Soldier 5. What are they up to now?
They could be up to whatever they want.
That's true.
Man, there's so many of those.
There are quite a few.
And they're still going with Kickboxer.
That's right. Wow.
And he's in some of them.
He's in all of them.
Yeah.
But like a different character, sort of?
I don't know.
I don't recall him in all of them.
No. Remember, there's like the reboot where there's a new Kickboxer and he's like half training him. Remember, we watched one, but now there's like a continuation of that.
I thought he was Kickboxer, but like old and retired, and he was training the new gen.
So I think that's what we were led to believe, but I think he is a different
He's just
character.
a different guy, of course.
We're gonna have to get into kickboxer lore, maybe.
Hey, if you again, listeners, if you like Kickboxer and Kickboxer lore, I guess you're in the right place. You found a friend.
We can go down the dark path of Jean-Claude Van Damme and what was his name? Sasha Mitchell or Cody from
Step by Step.
Step by Step.
Yeah, he took over.
He took over.
Then didn't you tell me he like went crazy and like went into a jungle, or they took him out of a jungle?
Wait, is this the movie or
That's
the real life of this person?
The real life of that dude.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I don't know.
Sometime, but that's crazy.
Sometimes people go crazy and go to jungles. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not here to spread rumors, but if you're a cast member who worked on Step by Step and you want to give us the skinny on the side, we could like, I don't know, phase out your voice like, I worked on the set of Step by Step. I am not Patrick Duffy. I am.
Do we have the technology here to do that?
We could try.
We can pull it off.
Call me Duff Stuff. And I would.
Codename Duff Stuff.
Well, we took a detour from this movie like the story did from this movie.
We did. We're almost there, though.
Yeah. Where did we leave off? He was chained to the thing. His ghost wife appeared.
Oh, wait, his ghost wife hasn't appeared
yeah.
yet. So he has really led the way. So the head guard is telling the general, like, it's like, it's Austin Powers. Like, Dad, give me the gun. I could just go there and shoot him. He's like, no. If you do that, he'll become a martyr. And so the two rival gangs are like, mad respect, dude. Like,
Yeah, he's healing wounds. He's building bridges.
yeah, he's like, but he's not even Russian. He's like, he doesn't have to be. Like, he knows what's going on. And so one rival gang member leader goes to another. He's like, the guy's like, what do you want? He's like, peace. He's like, for reals. But he says something like that. And they're like, okay. They're like,
talk?
yeah, they're like, but that guy's crazy. He's like, no, he's doing it for all of us. And now the general is pissed because he's like, there's no more fights. These people won't fight. This guy's starting a revolution. This is all happening within like 5 days. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, you can't be chained to a tower not having any food or sustenance for all this time. Like, it's 5 days tops. But gangs are changing. Everyone's a gang.
Yeah, a lot happened. There's a lot to unpack in those few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh no, they let him down. They let him down off the thing that he's chained to.
He has a vision with this is where he has.
This is where he sees his wife.
And before all this, remember Billy's dying words, which we didn't say, were like, "Don't let him change you. Don't let him turn you into something you want." And that he's now empowered. He's like, I lost my way.
Yeah.
This movie probably took place in like 2 weeks. You got buff. You didn't get buff.
Maybe less than that.
Your name's Buffy. You're a vampire slayer.
The transition of days and nights is just unknown in this movie.
It's not as bad as Star Wars, like the new Star Wars movies, where it's like, I think Lamar, you pointed it out. Like, what was like what was the first movie? It's not
Force Awakens.
Yeah, The Force Awakens, where I think Lamar's like, didn't it seem like this took place in a day? And after rewatching it, I was like, oh my God, like this like literally at tops took place in like 30 hours. Like, what the hell happened?
Wow. Craziest time transformation in that movie.
I'm guessing this movie takes place over like the course of like a year.
That's my guess as well.
Yeah.
That's true. You can actually see the transition in Jean-Claude Van Damme when he's training.
Well, that's the weird thing.
Yeah.
But it's not eating shit. Like, he's
Yeah,
eating like porridge and also like
like
putting on like
raw.
50 pounds of like muscle. He's drinking the poo water. I knew
10
it.
grams of protein a day, and yet he's packing on muscle mass like crazy.
We did see one of the times when they were taking him out of the poo room, he saw that cart with all that dope food on it.
Well, that was going to Secret.
See, it was
Agent
going
Man.
to Secret Agent Man, but maybe this movie glossed over a lot of things. Maybe when he was like the fight guy, they were like, you know what, let's give him some food.
No, but remember, he was not the fight guy initially.
No, but eventually he did.
But when he puts on like a lot of muscle mass before he fights like like he is literally.
Don't try to make sense out of
like
what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, there's food in there. Maybe they gave him some at some point.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I wish this movie overlapped with Stranger Things. Lamar, have you watched the newest season of Stranger Things?
Yeah, I polished it off.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Just like a nice overlapping.
That'd be bizarre, considering the characters in this
It'd be a
movie.
deep cut. It'd be a bold move by Stranger Things and those brothers. Like,
Maybe.
we were such a fan of In Hell that we needed the sheriff to be part of that. Good
Maybe
one.
it's the same universe. Maybe when did Stranger Things take place?
Like 80. I think
Oh,
they're
so
like
before
86
this?
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind.
Well, maybe that's the prequel to the prison that they're in. That's why it's so In Hell.
Maybe. I was thinking after they closed the prison down at the end of this movie. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Well, they finally did it.
They finally did.
This prison looked like a state-run prison, whereas in Stranger Things, that looked like an
like a black
independent
site.
gulag.
Maybe it's the same thing. So, like, what if this is just an Indianan prison just run by Russians? Like, who knows? I don't know what happens in Indiana. Do people in Indiana know what happens in
I
Indiana?
don't.
When you go to Indiana, you lock your doors.
I'm not fully believing that Indiana's a real place.
I think it was a.
I've never been there.
I think it's like
Words right out
Atlantis.
my mouth, Mike. I was going to say.
Well,
I
a
don't think Indiana exists.
Christmas story happened there, and then I think they shut it down.
It's a fictional place. Have you ever met anyone from there? No, no one has.
Yeah.
Sorry, Indiana. Prove it.
Hashtag Indiana.
There you go.
If you want to prove your existence, is this happening?
Yeah. And you know what?
Are you Stranger Things?
Indiana's the dog's name.
Because if Stranger Things wants to call,
That's true.
we could interview Stranger Things.
Okay. Yeah, get Stranger Things on the line. Okay.
Where are we here?
No one knows.
Let's see.
Ghost wife, they let him off the thing.
Yeah, you talk about your ghost wife. So no, before they unleash him from the tower, the amazing CG of Moth comes back and then turns into a frothy mix of fog and ghost wife, and three gentlemen in the room, which is all three of us were like, ugh, like all simultaneously. It looks bad. It looks bad. You should have stayed moth. You were bad, but better.
I think my commentary for this movie at the time was this is where they jumped a shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the CGI was just off the rails on this. It looked bad. It looked like they were trying some kind of Star Wars, like, help me, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
She looked projected.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like honestly, that I can't. It's not CGI. It wouldn't have been in the 70s, but that looked better than this.
Actually, yeah,
Yes.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Plus,
Star
I didn't
Wars
last
had better
long.
special effects in this movie.
Yeah. So, well, that's done. they take JCVD to the hole, and I think out of the hole, and the general is just pissed. Like, these fights are stopping.
Right.
So he's like, all right.
We have to make an example out of
Yeah,
this guy.
so they get a big fight going, and they're no longer in the courtyard. It's at night, and the general tells all the prisoners who are locked behind bars. So imagine, like, all the prisoners, you've seen, like, a multi-tiered room. They're all behind bars, but the general and his, guards are next to him. And he's like, I'm getting a fight one way or another. And they take out Milosh. And Milosh is the wolf man that we've been hearing, Frankenstein and all around.
I like how you nicknamed him Secret Agent. Like,
Well, so he is unleashed, and Jean-Claude Van Damme is out, and they're like, you're going to fight, and they just, like, unleash this guy, and he goes ape quick.
Yeah.
Even, like, Jean-Claude Van Damme, this is the best acting in the movie. He seems startled.
Right, no, he is
Yeah.
terrified of
Because
this.
Milosh is, like, 6'8". Jean-Claude Van Damme is a hefty 5'4".
Well, he's 6'8". He's wearing like cutoff shorts and like a mankind mask for some reason.
And he's built like Bane from Batman.
Yeah.
And kind of wearing a similar mask.
Yeah.
And he looks like a wrestler. And I like Jean-Claude Van Damme starts dancing around the metal steps to go to the second floor. And then he tries to run up them, and Milosh just pulls him right down.
Yeah.
it's really the first time where Jean-Claude Van Damme, you can actually feel fear from him.
Yeah.
Versus, I don't care. I'm just gonna die.
Yeah.
Whatever. Now it's just, oh shit, he's coming to kill him.
But then what does he do? He bangs on the wall.
Yeah, he's like, no. And then the guy's like, so
They have a moment.
I told you, banging will save your life, and banging's gonna get you out of this.
I mean, when he was banging on the wall earlier, I did not pick up on the fact that Milosh was banging back. That they had that they had some
Milosh
kind of
did.
thing.
Yeah.
He's just like that guy.
Just kind of a
They're
connection.
like, hey, you're the banging guy.
Hey, you're the
bang,
guy. You're
so-
the guy from the thing.
So then he stops beating down JCVD and beats the shit out of literally everyone else in the
Yeah,
room.
the head guard takes 3 shots into him and cannot stop him, and Milosh just takes down guard after guard after guard. It's kind of awesome. He hulks out. It's awesome. That was my favorite point in this movie.
Yeah, this was okay.
But he dies, and Jean-Claude Van Damme tries to take off his mask and doesn't. Just like stops like a minute and then
Right.
puts like a shirt on him.
Right, it was like trying to be this nice thing, like, you've been wearing this mask for your whole life. Like, I'm going to take it off. He struggles with one of the buckles. He's like, no, I don't. This is too tough. And then he just puts a shirt over his face.
Yeah.
Leave him with his gimp mask and give him
Yeah.
his dignity.
Yeah, so then 451, the cellmate, and Jean-Claude Van Damme kind of run off, and, the guards are shooting certain cellmates, etc., and they just kind of kick it in a corner. He's like, I could help you get out of this place.
Yeah, that's
And
where
they come
shit-
up with a plan.
Yeah, that's where shit pops off, kind of, right?
Yeah, so he has 451 apparently has hidden in the wall like a list of everyone that's died in the jail.
And I noticed this earlier during one of the fight scenes for 451.
He's taking notes. Yeah.
As people are getting beat down, like, yeah, that guy's getting fucked up.
That guy's got like 500 notebooks.
Right. Why he felt he
He's like
needed
the
to
killer
hide
in
this.
7. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Exactly. Maybe he's documenting war crimes, I guess.
Yeah.
He has 500 notebooks, and the moment that guy dies, they're going to throw it all in the trash.
Right.
Most likely.
That's what's been clogging up the poo room the whole time.
Right. But he's like, yeah, you got to get out of here. You can take this book and like expose the crimes.
Publish my book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Witness murders.
and then
so
he does.
yeah. So the big plan is we don't really know. They set up the big fight. And so, although Jean-Claude Van Damme is technically out, he tells the picture that he's been having of his wife in a bikini. He's like, I got to do one more fight. So they set up the fight where that transfer prisoner originally won the fight, and then they fight. And Jean-Claude Van Damme dominates him overall. I mean, it's kind of a quick fight.
It is kind of, because 451's like...
there's a secret plan.
It's a secret plan. Like, they're gonna have you fight this guy, and then... what I inferred was like, yeah, they're gonna take you somewhere, like your victory party, but they're gonna fucking kill you.
So he's like, they're gonna drive you to the woods. Like, this is what they do. Like, they're gonna be like, he's the best. We're gonna set him free or whatever. But they're really just gonna take you to the woods and shoot you. So kind of towards the end of your fight, I'm gonna sneak off, and he does. He kind of infiltrates the general's quarters and just basically walks in and kills him.
Well, no, he steals the keys to the general's car.
Oh, that's right.
And then so when they're after,
that's right. I skipped a scene. Yeah.
Yeah. After he wins the fight and they take him, they're putting him in the Jeep or whatever. 451 pops up and is like, ha ha, and they kill the guards.
Then he's like, drive off in the general's, garb.
Yeah.
And
like no one will stop you.
If
So
they won't look at you, they'll see the car in the garb.
Yeah.
Now I'll sneak off to the general's quarters.
Yeah. And he just rips out his tongue.
Yeah.
And then he just sits there drinking his wine until the guards come.
And Jean-Claude Van Damme drives off.
Yeah.
And then we see a little note that the prison was shut down 3 months later.
Yeah. That was the stupidest thing.
And that was, my friends, in hell.
Yeah. So I'd like to rewind a little bit to the beginning of the podcast when you guys were both like, this is a pretty good movie. Having talked about it for an hour, how do we feel about this now?
This was a better than...
I'm going to say it just like that. This is a pretty good movie.
This is a better than average Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
What?
What?
No.
I didn't go that far. I said this movie is better than Nowhere to Run. I
don't know that I've actually seen
Which
it.
is pretty much your average Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
No.
I don't know.
Hey, you go look at all those other Jean-Claude Van Damme movies in the same vein as Nowhere to Run, in the same era, and you put this up against that plot-wise and what they're trying to do, it's way better.
I am going back that Mike was like, this is the worst Jean-Claude Van Damme film. I'm like, don't go chasing waterfalls, my friend, because...
You know what? Okay, maybe it's not the worst, like if we're doing measures of quality or I don't know how...
Or anything.
Or anything. Okay, I would rather watch... I don't think there's a Van Damme movie that I've seen that I wouldn't rather watch over this.
I think my view is this. I don't think this was a good film.
It was not.
But I have, in my own viewings, have seen much worse Jean-Claude Van Damme films.
If I had to make an A-B choice, like this movie or another Van Damme movie, I can never see myself picking this movie.
I would pick this movie over Nowhere to Run.
I don't think I've seen that.
I picked this movie over Cyborg.
I would not. Over Cyborg?
Yeah, Cyborg sucks.
I'll watch Cyborg Cyborg. I watched Cyborg like 2 weeks ago just because I wanted to.
God damn.
I like Cyborg. I guess we're too far apart there.
I can agree. I think we can all agree that Kickboxer and Bloodsport are awesome.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the other films, like Double Impact and Cyborg.
What's the one with Dennis Rodman in it?
Ooh.
I'd rather watch that.
Double Team?
Yeah, I'd rather watch that. Is that the one that also had...
Yikes, I would.
I would do that movie for this podcast. Okay. That movie's so bizarre.
Isn't Rob Schneider in that too?
Maybe. It was like the Roger Rabbit of Jean-Claude. Is there... I'm going to throw this out there. I would watch this movie over JCVD, the film, again.
Oh, I'd rather watch JCVD.
I did not like JCVD.
Really? I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, there you go. I'm glad we can agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be a couple others that we've seen that are just...
I have a list of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies pulled up right now.
Want to do a little Jean-Claude Van Damme, go down the list, and
I feel like
wait, don't mention the movie that I talked about earlier that we almost did.
Okay.
So we almost did another Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, and then I kind of stumbled upon this one. But I still think we should go back to that other one, so don't put that on the list.
Okay. Do you want me to start like...
you can start like Willie. There's way too many.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend like 10 minutes going through Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay, Bloodsport. Yeah, rather watch Bloodsport.
Of course.
Yeah.
Cyborg. We're differing on that, Lamar, but I would rather watch
I would also watch that.
God damn.
Lionheart.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched Lionheart like 2 months ago.
Death Warrant.
I don't know if I've seen that.
The answer is yes. Double Impact.
Yes.
Yes. Universal Soldier.
Yes.
Yes. Last Action Hero.
What?
I think he plays himself briefly.
That's
Okay.
inconsequential.
Hard Target.
No. 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 That's the John Woo film. That movie's
okay.
terrible.
No, I'd still rather watch it. Also,
Ooh.
sticking with the Louisiana theme. So, what was his name in Universal Soldier? Luke Devereaux. In Hard Target, his name is Chance Boudreaux. Because of fucking course. Oh no, this is a music video. Time Cop, obviously.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Street Fighter, 100%.
Yeah.
Sudden Death, yes. The episode of Friends that he's in, The Quest, it's got like a temple on it. Yeah, that was fine.
There's like a notable like older man. No.
Sure.
He's in
Roger Moore.
Yes, because he's like this old explorer. Man, I haven't seen this movie in like 20 years, but I just remember it was like, it was like a notable like a real notable actor, and then Jean-Claude Van Damme, and you like the whole movie just falls apart. There, I would totally do that for this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Double Team, we already talked about that. Legionnaire, great.
Let's not just be saying things.
Universal Soldier: The Return.
I don't know.
Inferno, you and I watched this. It's the one with Pat Morita in it, and like the motorcycle desert thing.
Wow,
we've gone too far. We're now up into the point where In Hell came out, which sucks.
Around this time, I don't think I've seen Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. I think he just disappeared.
No, he didn't disappear. He's been a part of you all along.
It's kind of like the Steven Seagal thing. It's a point in time where I just cut off movies.
What would JCVD?
Just like Steven Seagal, I went back like decades later. It's like, hey,
Jean-Claude Van Damme is no Steven Seagal friend.
Right.
There's a point in time where
just because people do martial arts, let's not put them on the same plane of existence.
I'm grouping them all together.
Not Steven Seagal.
No longer. They're action movie stars that happen to perform martial arts in movies.
I think we need to remove Steven Seagal from this equation.
We do. Yeah.
Yes, talking about very different people. Mike's just still on his phone.
Yeah, no, I'm just...
Are anything recognizable? Because between In Hell and JCVD, I can't think of...
Yeah, well, he's in one of the Expendables. He's in another, like, 14 Universal Soldier movies.
Gotta be.
Just like Seagal, just disappeared and made a whole bunch of shit.
Not like Seagal.
He plays a character called Le Colonel in a movie called Arab on the City, which I never want to watch.
Yeah,
no. He plays himself in a movie called Corporal versus Napoleon, which I don't even know what to say.
I feel you're just opening, this gate that we're going to just start watching all of these films.
This might be a Russian movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Wow.
Yeah, let's... Okay. Okay.
That can't be real.
The damage that you divulged your psychiatrist for the next 7 years.
So I'm going to amend my statement from earlier. Right. I would rather watch any Jean-Claude Van Damme movie that came out before this movie than this movie.
That's more fair.
Yeah.
That's more fair.
And actually most of the ones that came out afterwards.
But we can find worse, and now Mike could agree with that. Well, as always, if you want to talk about any of these things and your love or your extra love for Jean-Claude Van Damme, and as my dad noted, you can't beat a good Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, you could reach us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. You could hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. You could find ways. You could give us that 5 out of 5 star rating you've always dreamed of on a podcast. We're on all of them, so Google, Apple, however you're listening to this, you could not just listen to this on a website. You could go into an app and do those things. But yeah, we're going to keep covering this month gatherings. Where could they go wrong? Are they in a prison? Are you trying to make a werewolf? Who knows? I don't know. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I feel like
we're gathering.
Only tangentially holding on to that concept, but
it could be American Pie. We could watch American Pie.
No, we're not doing that.
No, an American Pie movie, not one, but like we get an offshoot. I don't know.
I'm struggling to think of
Levy?
one.
I don't know.
He's in all of them. Naked Mile is one of them?
Sure, let's do it.
No.
Gatherings.
All of them?
I think he is, yeah. I don't really want to make this podcast about talking about like softcore pornography, which is I'm pretty sure what the American Pie series became.
That's our other podcast. It's on the dark web.
It's called the same thing, but it means something different.
The Dark Rabbit Troop.
Oh no.
Rabbit Troop sucks for money.
Yeah, you got to unlock that with the secret code.
Yeah. Dear God.
Ah, damn.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
as always, Denver, Colorado. Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's almost going to be Thanksgiving, so be thanks
Yeah.
and giving.
Yeah.
And
Tell
like,
us what you're thankful for. Write us an email.
Give your thanks.
maybe you could write like a Dear Santa to Mike, like, Dear Micah Claus.
Yeah, tell me what you want for whatever holiday you celebrate.
Anything you want Mike to do to you, to perform for you, on you, near you. Let it be known.
Okay. So we're pimping me out now.
Let those wishes be known.
Yeah. Okay.
And he'll sprinkle you with candy like I'm still finding on the floor from Halloween from Nemo. Thanks, Nemo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Bonus points if you draw me a picture of what you want me to do.
you
And the
could,
illustration. I'll hang it on my fridge.
the only thing I request is please don't send it to our email, but if you directly want Mike's cell phone number or his email,
Yeah, we'll
I
post
could give
it on
it to
Instagram.
you. Yeah, I could give it to you, and you could directly send them any of the pictures.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to leave them voice messages.
I'll just give you the address to my house. So I'll put a picture of my house so you know what time of day I'm not there.
Mike likes to play hide and seek in the middle of the night, so you could get a key under his mat and then just play little giggle games in the middle of the night. He loves it.
I love giggle games. That's correct.
Dress up like an elf for Christmas. Well, this just really derailed.
Yeah.
So, as always, Denver, Colorado, hit us up. We'll get some more Denver-centric movies coming up soon.
We say that every time, and we're never going to.
Well, I think we have some ideas coming up, but
Okay.
we always have some themes, and we were just out of Halloween. But as always, Rabbit Troop sucks.
Yes, it does.
And Mike likes tickle games.
I like tickle games.
Yikes. Lamar, anything?
Have a good day, everybody.
Yeah.
They logged off long ago.
Yeah, no one's listening.
Rabbit Troop sucks.
Rabbit Troop sucks.